Did you know, my trivia friends, that for a time, a powerful dream swept across the Philippines? It promised a life free from the daily grind, a future where you could be your own boss, and a garage filled with shiny new cars. This was the powerful pull of multi-level marketing, or MLM. It felt like a revolution, a secret whispered from one friend to another, from a trusted aunt to her favorite niece or nephew. The message was simple and exciting: work hard now, get your friends to join, and soon, you will be living the life you've only seen in movies. It was a promise of financial freedom delivered right to your doorstep, wrapped in a box of hope. The popularity of MLM was no accident. It tapped directly into the heart of the Filipino spirit, our deep wish to provide a better life for our families. Imagine this: you are working a 9-to-5 job, barely making enough money, when a friend shows you photos of their new apartment, all thanks to this amazing business chance. They tell you that you don't need a college degree or a lot of money to start, just your passion and your group of friends. This was a powerful story, especially in a country where regular jobs can often feel like a dead end. It was more than just selling products. It was selling a future. The system seemed so smart, so perfectly made for our culture. We Filipinos are naturally friendly. We care a lot about our relationships with family, friends, and community. The main idea of MLM, getting people you know to join, felt less like a business deal and more like sharing a wonderful secret. It used the power of getting along, our natural wish to be friendly and help each other. The meetings, often held in coffee shops or homes, were full of inspiring stories, loud claps, and an exciting energy that made you believe anything was possible. It was a community, a family, all chasing one beautiful dream. But like many things that seemed too good to be true, this golden dream had a hidden, darker side. The promise of endless money was painted in bright, bold colors, but the small print, the real cost of chasing that dream, was written in invisible ink. People saw the success stories, the top earners on stage holding giant checks, but they didn't see the quiet struggles happening behind the scenes. They were so blinded by the bright light of the promise that they didn't notice the growing shadows that were slowly creeping in, ready to swallow their hopes whole. The first crack in the beautiful outside of MLM began to show when regular people faced the tough truth of the business plan. The promise was simple: sell great products and ask others to do the same. However, many soon found out that the real focus wasn't on selling the soap, the coffee, or the vitamins. The real money, the recruiters whispered, was in building your team below you. This changed the focus from being a simple business person to becoming a non-stop recruiting machine. Suddenly, friends were no longer just friends, they became possible customers, names on a list to be convinced. This created a huge, unspoken pressure. Family gatherings and friendly get-togethers became awkward, unofficial business meetings. People started avoiding calls from their MLM-involved friends, fearing another sales pitch. The promise of financial freedom began to cost something far more important: real friendships. Imagine going to a wedding and having a cousin pull you aside, not to talk about your childhood, but to explain a payment plan. This slow breaking down of trust, this turning of friendship into something to be bought and sold, was the first sign that the dream was turning into a nightmare for many. Then came the money problems. To join, members often had to buy an expensive starter kit filled with products. To stay active and get paid, they had to sell a certain amount each month. Most of the time, the easiest way to meet these goals was to buy the products themselves. Soon, garages and storage rooms were filled with boxes of unsold goods. The dream of earning a lot of money quickly turned into a reality of growing debt. People were taking out loans, selling their jewelry, and using their life savings, all hoping to make it big one day. The dream was sold as a way to become a business owner, but the truth was far from it. A real business owner controls their products, how they sell them, and their business plan. In the world of MLM, the sellers had very little control. They had to follow the company's rules, prices, and advertising materials. They were not building their own brand. They were building the brand of the company at the top of the pyramid. This big misunderstanding, the idea of being a boss when you were actually just a salesperson paid by how much you sell, with no regular salary, was a hard truth to accept for thousands who had put everything they had into it. My trivia friends, let's look at the cold, hard facts. While the success stories were loud, the numbers of failure were a very quiet silence. Studies from groups that protect customers around the world, including reports from the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, have shown a clear and shocking truth. More than 99% of people who join MLM companies lose money. Think about that. For every one person you see on stage with a new car, there are at least 99 others who are likely in debt, their dreams broken and their garages filled with unsold stuff. It's not a business. It's a lottery where almost everyone loses. In the Philippines, this truth became even clearer with several big scandals that showed the darker side of the industry. Remember the Amman Futures scandal? While it was really a Ponzi scheme, it used MLM-style ways of getting people to join that played on the same hopes and dreams, leading to billions of pesos lost by regular Filipinos, including teachers, police officers, and fishermen. These events made the public, and government groups like the Securities and Exchange Commission, much more careful. The SEC started warning people against fake investment plans pretending to be real MLMs, making it harder for these companies to hide and operate. The very way MLM is set up is not possible in the long run. For everyone to succeed, you would need an endless number of people to join. Let's do some simple math. If one person gets 6 people to join, and each of those 6 gets another 6, by the 13th level, you would need to have gotten more people to join than there are on planet Earth. This is the main problem. The system is not made for everyone to win. It is made so that almost everyone at the bottom helps the very few at the top get rich. The promise of endless possibilities is, in truth, something that cannot happen mathematically. Experts in money and business have warned about this for a long time. They point out that in a real business, most of the money comes from selling products or services to regular people. In many MLMs, most of the money comes from the people who join themselves through starter kits, training classes, and buying products every month. When the money is mostly coming from inside the group rather than from outside customers, it crosses a dangerous line. It stops being about selling directly and starts to look a lot more like a pyramid scheme, a plan that is set up to fail from the very beginning. So, what is the simple, powerful lesson we can take away from this, my trivia friends? The lesson is this: there is no magic shortcut to success. Real progress is earned through hard work, patience, and smart, informed decisions. The promise of getting rich quickly is almost always a trick meant to play on our deepest wishes and worries. If a chance sounds too good to be true, it almost certainly is. We must learn to be more careful, to ask the tough questions, and to look past the fancy presentations and emotional stories. This experience teaches us how important it is to understand money. Instead of putting money into risky plans where you get little back, we must learn to handle our money wisely. This means learning how to make a budget, how to save regularly, and how to invest in real, proven ways like stocks, mutual funds, or even starting a small, regular business. A real business is built on giving real value to customers, not on an endless chain of getting people to join. Starting a small food cart, a neighborhood store, or an online shop based on a real skill you have is a much more stable and honest way to become financially independent. The MLM failure in the Philippines is a painful but important part of our story. It serves as a national warning. It taught us to be more careful and to protect not only our money, but also our relationships. The real treasures in our lives are not fast cars or fancy houses earned by hurting others, but the trust and love of our family and friends. We must rebuild and strengthen our communities based on real support, not on turning our loved ones into potential team members. Let's help each other by sharing good money advice, not by getting each other into questionable plans. Now I ask you, my trivia friends, we have talked about the rise and fall of this dream, but the story is not yet finished. Many of you may have your own experiences, either directly or through someone you know. What do you think about this? Have you ever been asked to join an MLM? What lessons have you learned about business and money? Share your stories and questions in the comments below. By sharing our experiences, we can help protect each other and build a future based on real chances and true money wisdom. Remember, knowledge is power.